Okay, we're back. Oh my God. How crazy, right? All right. I am so tickled. All right, y'all, we are back for real. Coach Jay here had to get off the live because something was a little moth or something, the thing was flying and I had to go and take care of that. Okay. That's one of the things about when you have a community, you build a community and you know, you build up your community in their regards and people just be like, and then something happened, what like just happened. If I had extreme imposter syndrome, I would like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed, da 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 da. It would like tear me up, right? Because it'd be embarrassing. And then I'll be thinking to myself, like, I know people are like, girl, what are you doing? But when you build community, when you build community, they understand that you are human. Take these are little learning lessons, right? These are learning lessons where things happen and when you're on live, people are catching you live. They're not catching you, you know, this is live TV in so many ways. Live TV. So, things happen. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, or say I'm back, or if you're back, let me know if you're back or not, or if you're live, this is your first time catching me. This is part 2. And we were just talking about, we're just talking about how you need to make time to create the content for your business. We're in a content-led era, right? We're in a content-led information era. So we have to start thinking about all these pieces. Okay. We got to start thinking about all these pieces. So going back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by whatever that was, but it's gone now. And it's I feel so much better because y'all, I was not okay doing all this. And I said, they're gonna get tired of me because it's as soon as I see something coming, I'm like, like, no, not today, not today. So let's go back to what we were saying because we want to make sure that this is methodical and that it is absolutely in alignment to where we're going as business owners, right? Because most business owners are integrating content into their strategy. It used to be a lot of cold calling, it used to be a lot of emailing, and it still is in so many ways. You can try different avenues because people will always say, well, everybody's not online. I'm going to tell you this. If you're not building your business, not only for, what is it? Not Gen Z, but millennials and X boomers. If you're not making things and offers and content for you need to start thinking about Gen Z. A lot of people don't think about Gen Z when they're doing their offers and stuff. They're not thinking about the next generation. So you need to start looking at your, like, is my content being made for just my comfort or is it being created for the people that I actually want to work with and that are eventually going to buy from me later? Because we don't integrate different types of content into our strategies. Hey, Kyla, welcome. Thank you for saying live. Thank you for saying live. Because some people don't do that. They just come in and look. It used to be a time where everybody used to say live. I remember those times. That's when everybody's attention span was fine. All of that. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, Kyla. I'm glad you brought that up because I was going into that in the part one. Because I don't know if you saw what I was saying. Honey, I had something that was on the wall. It was a moth. And I saw that thing and it was big. And I said, I don't know if there was a butterfly or what, but it ended up being a big old moth. And that thing was huge. And I said, let me take this live down and let me go and kill it. And then I'll come back on. So that's a very interesting point, and I'm glad you brought that up, that people think that Gen Z are not buyers. This is kind of true. They're coming into the workforce, or they're in the workforce now, right? So these are your 20 somethings all the way down to, I believe, 12, 13-ish. So what we're seeing though is that even though they're young, they still have purchasing power, but in a different way. They have purchasing power in the way of views. So if you are interested in content monetization in your strategy, which I think everybody who is advertising online, I'm not going to lie to you, you need to have some way where you are getting money from the content space. And we've talked about this. You need to find a way to integrate, because you're going to get paid via views or you're going to be paid via money. Now, money is always good because money is going to, like, money first, like currency first. Yes, they need to come on and they need to buy from you a course or something, right? But then at the end of the day, there needs to be a part of your strategy that is positioning yourself to be a media company, a podcast, or some kind of something where you are talking to people about certain topics that are important in your industry and your niche, and that it brings some sort of community. Okay. I'm not saying that you're an influencer, but this is one of the ways where your content will compound on your behalf. And then you will see that the content that you're putting out there is going to come back. I don't know why people think that coaching is free. Coaching is not free. Why is it not free? Because coaching is a high performance sport. It takes you transfiguring and transforming. People want to make money, but they think that making money should come with just the fact that you are, oh, well, I just want to make more money. There's strategies in place. And you have to be able to do a couple of different things and setting up your streams. You need to set up the waves and the flow of the current. Going back to the first video when I said part one, women are water. The feminine is water. The masculine is structure. The masculine is logic. The masculine is evidence, is proof. Is proof to me. The masculine is, let me see, let me prove. I know what I'm talking about, but let me prove it to you. It's almost like that ego. Like, let me show you that I'm serious. Let me show you that I know what I'm doing. And in turn, when I show you what I'm doing, I want something in return. What they say, feed my ego. That is all that masculine side, right? But when we're going into the feminine is stand there and then you show me. Stand back a little bit. but she's also water. She's all over the place if you let her. This is why abstract, the feminine is abstract, right? The feminine is abstract. You can't measure that. This is why a lot of times we have such an issue with intuition. When it comes down to creating content, good content is either going to move you to do something or is it going to move you to think about something. Oof. Write that down. What did I say? No, just get under it. That's good right there. Good content, good quality content is either going to get your people to do something or is going to get them to start thinking about something. You want to be able to punch both, right? Because doing something is activation. There has to be a return on that type of investment. So when I invest in content, now this is coming from the creator, right? So content creator, okay? When I'm thinking about creator, being a creator is an abstract piece. Thank you, Kristen. It's really about pulling something out of the unseen, pulling something out of the unseen into the seen. And see, because we're so oh, this is good. This is so good. This is so good. When we're on live doing these things, because I've been doing live since 2019, like I said yesterday. I've been doing live since one. So just think about the compounding part of that, right? So 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. When we're doing lives, people come to the lives to either feel they want to hear what you have to say, they want to be educated what you have to say, they want to feel empowered or entertained by what you have to say. There are different reasons why people go live, right? And going live, like I said, is one of the easiest ways to build that community, especially when you're building products, when you're building smaller offers into bigger offers. I'm going to be very honest with you. Unless you have proximity to people with resources, capital, credit, or currency in some kind of way, unless you have a steady flow of leads, you need to start thinking about implementing digital products into your business. Now, when I do that, right? If I do that, if I put in digital products or digital courses into my business, what that is going to take is me doing a couple of things. I need to be visible. I need to have traffic. I've said this 1,000 times. A lot of people right now beating their head up against the wall because they're only doing high ticket. And while that is fine, some women don't have the capacity to do that. And I said that it's going to get to a point where women are tired. Women are going to get tired. Even women who have been doing higher ticket for a while, because we're so used to doing that, like women now just want to kind of release. And it's not, it has nothing to do with mindset, like, oh my God, they just don't want to make no money. No, we just want to make money differently. Because I'm going to tell you this is why I told y'all, women, this is your time. This is really your time. And I wish y'all would understand it. Because the men are taking this and riding. You know, I just you gotta get yourself together. Because the men are they taking the feminine and riding with it. See, and a lot of times we don't think their men are, oh, they're just no, men are leaning into their right. You know, I told you the feminine is right brain. It's abstract, is, you know, we're gonna do what we feel. And then on the back end, All you gotta do is look at your analytics and look at your tools. Kyla, and this is exactly. She said daily paydays give my nervous system the safety that they need. So when we're thinking about funnels, women fight that, especially from a logical standpoint, because we're so used to, we want the big, big, big. But you're in an economy where people don't have that. Like they had it at first. And if they do, you're going to have a slamming, amazing offer. And some of y'all need to catch up before you get caught back. Amen, somebody. And when people appreciate your content, they pay you in views. They pay you just like Kristen just said, super chats. They're going to give an offering to the divine mother within you. Just like we give offering to the church, you're guilty every time you go to church on Sunday about giving your offering and your tithes. But we're trying to, like content creators, the ones that are dedicated to research, y'all got to remember, like, this ain't like I've researched, I read, I listen to podcasts. I have notebooks and books at the wazoo that I invest in for my community. And so you're going to have to get to a place where you say, no, I'm only going into this. Is why I'm not apologetic about paywalls. And this is why women should not be apologetic about paywalls, and why it is important that you sow where you're going. Amen, somebody. This is why content is very key, because I read. People are like, oh my gosh, like how in the world is your content so good? Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. And see, that's reciprocation. That's because I do the same thing. When I'm on people's lives, and I'm not telling y'all what to do. And I understand if you ain't got it, you ain't got it, or you don't feel compelled to give. But I don't care how much money I've given to somebody. If you giving me a word, I'm going to invest. I don't care if I got $3. I'm going to find a super chat or something to find. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to get, but what I'm trying to tell you is that this is the same energy that you're going to require from your people. You got to sow where you're trying to go. And energy comes back around. Because if people are giving to you and they're giving you, that's why I say I'm big on live, comment live. It ain't that I'm trying to tell you like what to do. Live, comment live is a request from your audience to listen to me. You're doing that to stimulate your audience, to reciprocate for algorithm, because this is against the algorithm. I made a post this morning about the creative. And I want y'all to hear me when I say this, because you see the title of this video is Make Time to Create Good Content. The code word here, this is good. And I didn't even plan this. The code word here means is create. What I was saying at the beginning of this video is that you're bringing something out of nothing. This is void. The future is, here we go. The future is void. Every moment is being created, and there's momentum per every moment that you're living, every moment that you're thinking and reading and watching and thinking to yourself and making excuses, or you're empowering, you're working on your self-concept, you're sowing seeds, you're creating relationships, you're creating your future moment by moment. Did you know that? I don't care what you say, that's good. And see, people get irritated with capitalism. I'm gonna tell you, it is very irritating with capitalism. But I'm gonna tell you this: You have to participate in the system that you're in if you want to have the life that you desire. The system that you are in is capitalism. That is a contractual energetic that suppresses the creative. Do you not understand that? Everybody with me? Ladies, women, y'all need to listen. Y'all need to listen hard. You need to stop what you're doing and listen in. You've always been suppressed. I ain't say oppressed. I'm saying suppressed. I'm talking about the energy. We don't like talking about those things. We don't, and I told people a long time ago, there was going to get to a point where women just didn't want to make money no more. 10K months does not feel good to women's nervous systems at this point. I knew we were going to get to that place. This is why you don't see a whole lot of 10K offers until abundance. I'm gonna tell you this: if we, because we're supposed to go into a golden era, we're about to swing back up in a minute. You're gonna see the language change, and as soon as the language change, if you're paying attention, like I hope that you start paying attention to verbiage and not surface level stuff, because surface level stuff, I don't care about that. When you start peeping game and looking at the method that people are using and looking at how people start talking again, you're going to say, Coach J said that, because when people's language start changing at mass and at scale, that's when you start to see things, stuff starting to come back around. There are cycles. There's cycles in business. But the suppression of the feminine is coming from the fact that you are art. You make art. You have the capacity to create art. You're artsy. But Kyla, it's swinging up now. There is, and let me put this out there. When abundance was here, quote unquote, and I'm using air quotes, when it was 2020, 21, folks getting checks and stuff, what was in, right? What was in? High ticket. People had money to spend, money to blow, and they just put them in, but it was higher ticket. I'm going to tell you why anybody can win right now. You don't have to be health, wealth, and relationships to actually win right now. You can be in any genre, any coaching or consulting or education genre, and make money as long as what you are saying makes sense. All you got to do is be clear and have some type of niche and stick to that where you're known for something, and people are going to follow. They're going to buy. And then on top of that, if you are seen, if people see you, you're doing videos, you're doing content, there is no, and you got to get out of that. Well, I did 3 posts today. Get out of that. You're restricting yourself because you're trying to listen to other people that are already at where they're at. There is no restrictions when the feminine is, there is no restrictions. Do you not understand? Do y'all get what I'm saying? Like there's no set number of times you need to post. And then, the algorithm is not going to, yes, it will. You're training it to honor you. So there are people right now that post 100 times a day on these apps. Do y'all not, even on Facebook? Do y'all not understand that? Yes, they have systems in place and stuff like that. See, your nervous system got irritated when I say that. That's too many. No, it's not. Because when can I just bring it home? Can I bring this home? The amount of times that I post online is directly reflective of how much money I make. If I post in volume, I'm going to get back volume. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I'm making money off those lower ticket products. God is good. And you know why I say that? You know why I say that? It's simply because, okay? Simply because I put it out there. I put it out there. I have a system that helps me to schedule this stuff out. I use Metricool. This is not a secret. I told y'all all, I got a whole checklist of things, systems that I use. Are you kidding me? But you got to make time. This is my career. You got to make up in your mind that the amount I'm being seen, because who I am, when people say, I want to be paid for who I am, well, we got to see you. We don't know who you are. See these men? They putting it out 100 times a day. You're going to call that hustle. You're going to call that grinding. You're going to call that doing the most. You know why you're doing that? Because you want to sit back and have rainbows and unicorns. But I'm going to tell you this. This video itself, that's 9, 10 pieces of content. We're going to clip all of this and push it out. And you know what happens when I push it out? I have my link in the comment section. And you know what that link does in the comment section? It gets clicked by people that I don't even know. I ain't never seen before. They see that video and they instantly click. They instantly click. I don't post on, I used to push it to Instagram, not as much anymore. Because Instagram, you know, I told y'all, me and Instagram ain't. But if Instagram is your thing, use the automations, use what is available to you and get good at it. Stop putting restrictions on yourself. You're journaling and you're looking at everybody's stuff and trying to get encouragement. And why it's not happening for me? Step up your volume and watch what happens. Step up your volume and be consistent with the volume. Create a long form something. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Get a live, do some videos, or sit and batch content. I don't care what you do, but batch it and then push it out. Guess what's going to happen? People that have never seen you before, they're going to subscribe. They're going to click your link. They're going to push it out there. Kay said, where to start with cleaning up your personal page on Facebook? You got to get some of them folk out of your friend zone, your friend connections. If your friends, and I've said this too, if your family is pushing is keeping you from showing up, get them out. And don't feel bad about it. I blocked my folks, my parents for, I blocked them, what was it, 2020? I just unblocked my mother. And I told her to behave herself. And it's 2025. And it wasn't because I was being mean or but where I was going in my life, it took me, it had to come with great concentration on my self-actualization and my self-transcendence and my self-mastery journey. I had to get to a place where my identity had to be rooted. Who am I at the level of where I say I'm going? So which meant that I had to get rid of some people. And it included family. It included pushing away people that I've been knowing all my life. You know, folks would, because a lot of people knew you in your old life. And it's not that you think you all that, or you think you this, and the third, but it's really honoring who you are, and it's about what you want. And to build a business in 2025, at any point in the game, but really 2025 right now, you're going to have to quantum. And if anybody is in your way, they're going to have to stand back. And if you're trying your hardest and your darndest to make people feel comfortable, or you're so afraid that people are going to say something, you need to work on your inner child stuff, because that is child stuff. That's children's stuff. That is an identity issue. That is a psychosocial misalignment. Because of human development, you ain't even supposed to be worried about that stuff in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s. That's teenage. And I used to teach human development. If you are scared of being rejected, or you're scared of being confronted by family, like but you blocked me on Facebook, I sure did. I did. Because what I'm doing right now is about my destiny. And then and I see you in real life. So I can't, I love you. But what I am building online, I don't need no pollution. I don't need nobody saying anything off, because I'm building something online. What are you trying to do? Do content creation? What you trying to do? Be a content creator? I'm trying to be better. And it just might include being a content creator. So all them folk gotta go. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Donna, for the gift. Folk gotta understand that this is not a game. It's not a game. Mm-mm. This is about your self-actualization. So you need to clean up, get all them people out of your friend zone, clean up some of them posts, which means posts about foolishness. Just get them on it. I don't know, what you got on in there, okay? Or Makita. I think of Makita said, get all them people out, right? Get all this stuff out. And you're going to have to start focusing on the type of content that you want to push out. So here we go. This is a couple of things I'm going to say. The first thing is that you need to learn how to write content. You need to learn how to write content. You need to learn how to write content. You need to learn how to write in accordance to what your ideal client, or your dream client, or dream audience, buyers, right? In accordance to what they need to hear in order to do what? Two things. Number one, they either need to do something, or you think about something. And the thinking needs to lead to doing. Are you shifting beliefs, or are you activating some type of behavior? Everybody with me? Y'all gotta understand, this is a very important point. She said, plus cleaning and personal photos and personal, yeah. Mm-hmm. There has to be some level of, I gotta focus on me. This is your era. Like I was saying earlier, men tearing it up right now. I don't blame them. I love that for them, because they need to be doing something. They ain't fighting no way. They ain't in a war. They need to be doing something constructive. They need to be doing something constructive. Okay. They need to be, you got all these gamers, they need to be doing something. Okay. But women, this is really your time. This is your time, and you missing it because you worried about I don't want people to think. You got to stop making up stuff. Y'all make up stuff too much. You're making up things to avoid. You're making them stuff to avoid. And I don't care how pretty you are. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how many times you pray. I don't care how many times you fast. I was reminded this morning that I'm not doing enough. And I know that's hard to think because you're like, Coach, but you show up. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. No. I mean, I do, but we got to step it up a notch in a couple of different areas. Kyla. Yep. Get them doing something so they not getting on our nerves. Like, go do something constructive. And at the same time, women have to also get on their A game too, because you're going to be, when women don't have anything to do, they tend to think about the past a lot. And you tend to think about what you don't have. And many times, and I hate to say this too. I hate to say this, and this is for women, just women who are unmarried or not in a relationship. But you start thinking about what you don't have, and you start thinking about love and other, because women, we've been, programmed down to our muscle. You have to think about these things. This is a psychology thing. This is a battle with your mind. When you're not focused, this is why even like Maddie, I have to keep her focused. Because when girls are not focused, when women are not focused, they tend to think about what they don't have and who don't love them and you can need to have something going on. Stay busy. And when I say stay busy, I'm not talking about busy just doing nothing, but busy doing something constructive that's moving the needle along into your own company so that you can become self-actualized and make better decisions about your life. You're not making good decisions about your life. Look at your, you got to make good decisions about your life. And you can't do that when you get no money. So think about these things. Think about these things in depth. How, as a woman, I need to be. This is why I have such respect for what's her name, Shara, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Shara is the and I'm saying this because she's the best example I can come up with at the moment, right? Obviously, there are so many other examples. But the feminine, when I see feminine and using the business models of the feminine first, she comes to mind immediately. I'm not saying she's the only one, but she's really the face of that for me, right? And she uses the matriarchal slash mother to bring people into the fold, which is what? Lives, getting on live, spending time with her audience, taking questions, educating people, having a little wit. Somebody told me I was like the Shira of business, and I thought that was hilarious. But her audience has been trained to give her offerings. Her audience has been trained to buy her products. Her audience has been trained. So she's not even selling. She's maybe talking about things, but she's not even selling. That is the perfect, when I think of content media, even at the most simplest level, because see, some people think you got to have all this extra. You got to have all the camera stuff, and you got to have everything set up, and you got to look like you got to have producers, and I got to put money into this thing. The Shira is probably making double of some of these folks. She has 2 channels. She has one that is feeding what? the spiritual witchy channel. She has that, and that's where I found her, which is so funny to me. I found her on that channel. I didn't know that she was doing the other one until kind of later, and I was like, oh, what is that? And I really wasn't, you know, moving in that area yet until, I started seeing a lot on TikTok. And I saw her doing that kind of content. I was like, hold on. And so I was like, oh, but I still tune into the witchy channel every now and then. Not as much as I used to, but she still has those two channels. She's doing something that, number one, she knows it's going to gather attention. Listen to what I'm saying. Look at the peep game. See, people will tell you the game and show you the game, and you're going to miss it because a lot of y'all are not understanding. You got to study the industry we're in. You got to study the market. Some of y'all not studying. And I think it's bothering me that you don't study where you at. And you wonder why nothing is like coming to fruition for you because you're not studying where you at. You're not looking, you're not watching, you're not seeing. That's why I said sometimes you need to start looking and asking questions, and you need to start like taking little mental notes or physical notes, because a lot of these people giving you the game, you don't even know it. That woman has two channels. Listen to me. She has two channels. She has one where she talks about her spiritual stuff that she, and then she has one where she is providing insight, quote unquote, providing content and answering questions to who? The emotional crowd. What is the feminine? The feminine is who? Who's the feminine? The emotional. That channel is feeding into conversations about the things that women care about absolutely the most. But the good thing is, and this is the spiritual part that I love. If you're still watching, put live in the comment section or in the chat. Let me know if you're still here. But she's giving you game because the emotional crowd are people that's gonna watch her. They will watch her for hours and hours and hours and hours. Asking her questions, the same questions, even though she get irritated and tell people the same stuff, it's the same stuff. But you know what? She get paid for that. Because not only they're giving her offerings and giving her gifts, but the media company, the YouTube, the supplier of the platform for her to even share this content is doing what? They are giving her money every single month, and they're giving her money because of the compounded content from way back when. This girl she got content going back 11, 12 years talking about this stuff. Hi, Jasmine. Talking about this stuff. 11, 12 years worth. So you can just imagine how her YouTube has grown over time and how she's still getting paid from content from 10, 11 years ago. If that's the case, I don't know how they do the formula right with that, but this girl been working. And one of the things that she said I'll never forget is that she said I've been working on myself. So all of these attacks that TikTok be give that TikTok was given to her, time I was like, oh my gosh, why would Shira she talk about this and she talked about that, and people are attacking her. She has been doing the work on herself for so long, but she was already ready for it. And this is why I can respect women that when you say you're going to be a creator, you're going to have to be ready for all types of spiritual forces that can come against you at any moment. But you know, when you're not working on yourself, you know what happens? You buckle and you step back. You let your emotions get in the way of you getting to your destiny. That woman is building compound interest, compound currency. Her daughters will reap the benefits of her channels. Do y'all not understand that? This is digital real estate. Y'all really don't understand, because this is really setting up. You setting up. And it bothers me that some of y'all don't get that, because content is one of the best ways for you to set up for the rest of your life at some point. Because if something happened to you, where my pen go that fast? Oh, there it is. I said, where my pen go? I just had it. She is evergreen. Like, you're getting views. And then on top of that, you got to think about the longevity of the content. You got to look at this is longevity. It's long term. And that's why I said some of y'all got to go back to you got to go back to the table of vision. If you're just coming in, type live. If you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, comment replay, and grab the self concept PDF worksheet to help you with your mindset. And then also I have the Start and Grow Your Own Online School. That bundle is free. Get it in my link. It's free. You need to grab this so you can start your digital courses and things like that. Also, we have the Expert GPT Builder that just rolled out, and we have the Feminine Flow Funnels formula that just rolled out yesterday. So to teach you how to do funnels, you need to learn how to do funnels if you're going to be building digital products. Y'all talking about you want to be feminine. Feminine is not sitting and worrying about the future. The feminine is stable. So Shira, real quick, touching on her real quick, is she's setting up. You got to think about this is more than just, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? It is bigger than that. This woman is setting up the infrastructure to take care of her and her children, and probably her children's children. You don't understand how many people can benefit from those videos, not only from a space of content and learning her methods and principles, but then also too, you got to start thinking about, if you're saying that you want to be paid just to be you, that's going to take you getting on that camera and having a conversation with people. And it don't have to be a sales call. That's what I told women, like, you don't have to do a sales call. I'm getting sales every single day by just turning on the video. I'm getting sales and I'm not bragging. And I thank God for that. I am very, very fortunate for people to still trust me and but the thing is, this is not like, I've been doing this way before AI came out. So what I do and what I write and all this other stuff and what I talk about has everything to do with the fact that I study for a living. This is my work. This is my career. But Shira, she has an opportunity now, which she has taken full advantage of, and I'm very proud of her. She makes it very clear what she talks about, what her values are, and it's so Piscean of her. She's a Pisces. It makes complete sense. She's water, all of water signs for sure. Baby, we're gonna put on the camera and we're gonna be in our house. We ain't gonna do a whole lot of out and about kind of stuff. I wish somebody would do a content something per zodiac group, because I noticed like fire signs, y'all are out and about with y'all content. My best friend, like, she's like to be outside, and I don't do all that. I'd be like, girl, I'm in the house. I can do content. I can do a live in my bed. I can do a live in my account, like I'm doing right now. We in our house. We're so water coded. So when I see Shira, and it makes me laugh because she literally was like in her house, in her bedroom, with her kids. You have to make it work for you. And if you're telling yourself that you want to get all this extra stuff, hurry up and go get it so you can stop talking about it. But I'm telling you, for somebody who's been in the game for 5 years, and live video was one of the best ways of getting clients and things like that, and speaking engagements, and I didn't have to do much but turn on a camera or turn on a laptop or whatever, Zoom or whatever I got going on, and just simply talk. But what comes out of my mouth has to make sense, and it has to be able to feed the masses on the other side. Okay, so she became her own multiple streams of income author. Yep, makeup, readings, oils, and books, and that's see when we're talking about capitalism, let's tell the whole truth. Yes, we don't like it, right? A lot of people don't like it, but I'm gonna tell you this: being a woman in 2025 is one of the best times, just because we live in a world where this is absolutely possible. Our ancestors, coming from a woman who, and I always make this statement too, I live in Tennessee, Memphis. So you just imagine Memphis, Tennessee was one of the slave capitals of the South. Okay, along the Mississippi River, they used to have to stop here. Auction block, auction street, down the street. It's still up where they used to auction off the slaves. All of that stuff is still down there. They just took down, what's his name, Nathan Bedford Forrest statue a few years ago during the pandemic. So you've got all those hundreds of years of history. And my ancestors happen to be in the elements from sun up to sundown, and I get the liberty of not only, let me throw this out there, of not only being in my house with the internet, in my home, in the air conditioner. Come on, somebody, you better preach back to me. And I'm able to share insights and information and knowledge with my community. And I'm still, like, even now, I'm still getting sales. Like I'm sitting here with y'all, and I just got 3 of them coming in. I don't even know who these people are. They're from Reels and stuff. What I am trying to tell you is that you have an opportunity, if you could just put your pride aside and put your masculine down, because just because you're presenting feminine, because some of us are feminine facing. Come on, somebody. This is good right here. This is rich. Take this pop. Take this pop. You're feminine presenting, but masculine coded. You're still wanting validation and permission, and that's the inner child too coming up. You want proof that it's going to work before you do all of this. But let me tell you something. That's a part of being a creator. You don't know if it's going to work. That's a principle of creation. You don't know if it's going to work or not. Everything you're doing right now is by way of, we're just going to see. That's what creativity is. But if you're waiting on something to happen and you feel insecure first before you actually do it, that's not divine gifting. You're not walking in the divine. You're not walking by faith, and you're not walking by faith. And you get mad at me all the time. Mm-mm. You have to understand where we at. You have an opportunity to change. And the all over the placeness that you're saying, okay, that's because you don't feel safe. When we're scattered, it's just simply because we don't feel safe. And a creator or the creative, you have to feel safe first. You have to feel, you have to anchor yourself. This is why I said the nervous system has to be anchored for you to produce, because you really are going off by faith. And see, when people, and this is why sometimes when I see people getting mad because other people are talking about their income and saying how much they made, I don't do that often. Really, very rarely do I do that because people are weird online. But the reason why it irritates me sometimes, because sometimes people don't realize they're doing that to inspire people. Because, and yes, there are scammers out there. Well, what about people that don't? I know we know that, but we're talking about people that actually share it and they're telling the truth. Okay, that's all. That's going to be always where I come from. Yeah, we know that there are people that look for ways to scam and create false receipts. You can't prove that until it's some, and you really can't. You can't prove unless somebody sees something and somebody stole their content or something like that. It's the only way you'll find out. But you don't know if somebody is really telling the truth, but you just have to depend it that they're telling the truth. But when people are telling you these things, they're telling you from a space of inspiration, that you feel inspired to create something that you want to create, and what you create comes out. What we do, everything that you do, everything that's digital, even working in a cubicle. Y'all with me? Even with in a cubicle, you're producing air. You're working on air. I'm gonna say that again. Digital, this is the digital age. Do you know what that means? Air. Air, air, air. We're in the Aquarian age. Air. People don't carry around dollars like they used to. People don't carry around cash like they used to. You know, you can, but people don't do. People are so ready for you to get to the end of days. They're ready for you to get to the end. They're ready for you to hurry up and get to the end, because they don't want to create anything. And I said, people, like, you have been through 100% of the bad days in your life. What are you afraid of? If you really knew how much a lot of this stuff is just happenstance, you would completely curve different. Like the people that you're worried about saying something on your Facebook page, or saying something on your live, or saying something in your comment section, and trolls and stuff, like, a lot of this stuff just is really not even that deep. A lot of them would be bots. You're in the age of air. Half of this stuff is made up. A lot of this stuff is made up. Not even real. The word create means to bring something into existence that didn't exist before. That's at the most basic level. The word create means to bring something into existence that didn't exist before. That is a feminine aspect. You know why it's feminine and why men get upset with that? Because they think that they the creators. And I think that's so crazy to me, because you can't bring nothing out of something you can't. You came from the great mother, silly. Anyway, and it comes from the Latin word creer, meaning to make, produce, or bring forth. So, in plain terms, to create means, listen to me, to use your ideas, your voice, your hands to make something new. This finna hit you. This next point. This next point is gonna tear you up. So, what I just say, to use your ideas, voice, or hands, right? To make something new. Thank you, Donna. Yes, we are. But this next point, I need you to just to turn imagination into something real. Your imagination. Y'all don't imagine things anymore. You're not imagining anymore. You don't even, you're not even doing that. That's when you go back into your when you approach the divine with joy. This is where your content creation piece should be very sacred. I told women that when I used to this was a couple of years ago, and I remember I had a container. I used to say that content creation is sacred. It's supposed to be sacred. When it becomes unsacred, that means that you're back into, God has to leave the room because now you're in panic mode. When women, I see people copying folk content and all this and stuff, you're in panic. That's a panic response. So when we talk about imagination, what is that? What is imagination? Imagination is your mind's power. Imagination is your mind's power to see what doesn't yet exist. It doesn't exist yet. It hasn't came into reality in your human experience. And feel it as if it's already real. That's what imagination is. Imagination is your mind's power to see what doesn't yet exist and feel. So not only do I have to see it, I have to also feel like it's real. It has to invoke some type of emotion, and it has to indulge the senses. When I participate in the what I see that ain't real yet. You hear what I just said? When I participate in it, which means that I bring feeling into it. That's good right there. I don't care what you say. Scientifically, they did research that imagination lights up the same parts of the brain as real life experiences. So when you get so far into your imagination, when you like this is your content creation process, this is part of it. See, when you're in everybody's business and looking up, and feeling bad for yourself, you're not doing, see, worrying and depressed and thinking about the past leaves no room for what I'm about to say. Imagination lights up the same parts of the brain as real life experiences. So when I'm in anxiety mode, I'm thinking about the past and my emotions are involved in it. It's participating in my past blunders and my past disappointments. So I'm staying in the past and I'm not getting in, and I'm consuming content and I'm not stimulated to create something new. When I am consuming so much content that it doesn't push me to think, it pushes me to consume and escape my current reality because I don't want to think about it, right? It's not moving me into the future. So I'm living a reality and staying stuck in nostalgia and staying stuck in situations that I have zero, absolutely not one iota to change. This is why people get hooked up in the politics and what's going on in the world and not taking it for what it is. It is what it is. Now let's move forward because I'm in control of my reality. Nobody's saying nothing. It is That's a good word right there. So how can I create content when I'm consuming content that is pulling me backwards and is pulling me back into a sunken place and is not really inspiring me to do better? If I can't imagine something, if I can't create something, and when I create something, it has to start with imagination. Like spend some time in the morning and figure out, like, what do I want to project today? What's the type of content I want to project today? Because this embodiment, writing is one of the best ways to do that. Writing, drawing, creating offers, all those things, they give you tools to do those things. So Canva, for example, is one of the best platforms to exert or push out that creative energy. Canva gives you tools, just like a paintbrush and paint and canvas. It gives you all these things in order to create some type of art. So it gives you this blank, that it gives some people templates, right? So you get templates to just start off of. That's curation of content, right? But creation is starting off blank. But you get a choice in which way to do that. But I would rather I think sometimes it's an appreciation for starting off blank, but you have to feel safe to do that. So your content, like, is your content, you're thinking of ways of how you can capture moments and make it applicable in your content as a learning moment, as a teachable moment, and having to portray, and you're pushing through some type of ideal to your people. So every piece of content that you do for your business has to reflect the outcome, the transformation, the results, and the solution, etc., of what your ideal client wants to embody or to receive. You are the source of that. Amen. Mm-hmm. I think it's very unfortunate. I'm gonna read what she said. She said, I think we are so afraid. Look at that word, afraid. We're so afraid. Fear cannot, you can't fear. So what do you have to do? You have to surrender that. You have to surrender. Surrender means that you just have to give into it. And you have to pick up courage. And I just saw your comment pop up. It has courageous in it. Copying others who appear to be more courageous is so easy. And see, and that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, you still have to do the work in order for you to continue to show up. Because during the inner work, my allergies, y'all, I'm sorry. Your inner work has to come by way of your self-concept. It has to come by your self-concept. Let me see. And it said, I think that we are so afraid of failing and being judged by the people we know. Imagination. So that's why I say you got to get rid of some folks. Get them out. There is no reason why adults should keep another adult stunted. You gotta grow up. And this is in general. You've got to allow yourself the liberty of growing up. Kyla, you need to refresh your screen. Y'all need to refresh your screens. I know some of y'all probably left and came back. But I'm trying to give you an understand. You need to understand that your life, your business relies on you, and you can only go so far relying on other people. That's what I told people too, is that you got to become your own source. You have to become your own source of strength. You have to be your own source of content. And there is nothing wrong with adopting frameworks, because I think frameworks are very important. If somebody has been successful with a writing style, then definitely, kind of get the guidance there. But you are the source of your own creation. She said, I keep myself sheltered because of being copied and then having people unwilling to grow judge me. I almost call it, but yeah. But see, these are things that everybody has those same, uh, everybody has those same concerns when they're first kind of starting out. Everybody just go through this is why I tell people everything that y'all have thought, done, acted, I've done all that. It's almost like it's you and different people. So everything that y'all say and have felt, I went through all of that. And there's so many entrepreneurs that go through the same thing because everybody went through the same kind of programming. It's a program. Just like you take people through a coaching program or a learning program, a styling program, or branding program, etc., life coaching program, you're putting them through a program. But you went through a program for the first 7, 8, 9, 10 years of your life. And you had no idea that you were going through a program. You were very unconscious and you had to be given data. And that data projected how you were going to run through the world. So the harsher your program, right, the harder it was going to be to detach from that program so that you can adapt a new program. That's why I tell people you have to program yourself for the type of life that you want. But we don't want to do that because we are afraid of letting go of the old program. It's so comfortable. And even though you talk about it, you talk about the people that's in it, but you have to grow. You cannot wait on anybody else to do that. You have to you have to be the one to grow. Nobody else around you is going to conform. You're going to have to leave them behind or they're going to fall away their own. But you have to stay true to yourself about that. And the content that you create, that's coming from a space of empowerment. You're empowering yourself. Because that imagination part is spot on. I mean, what are you bringing into the world? What do you have? What are you creating? And you're excited about it. So you have to make a decision. This is your business. Make sure y'all thumbs up, do the thumbs up under the video. They're the thumbs. You have to take control of your own life. And you can love people's content all day. And you can want to do it, you can want to be, you can want to say, but I talk to women all the time. And it really grieves my spirit that I see so many talented women, because you can have talent all day. And none of that matters. You can be smart, you can have all the degrees, you can have all the education, you have all that stuff. It don't matter. I don't care how many times you fast. I don't care how many times you sit back and you do your healing work and all this kinds of all that stuff, all these things that y'all come up with to show up and just simply turn on the camera. Do you see how simple it is to literally turn on the camera? It ain't like you getting in front of 5,000 people. You literally turn on the camera talking. You see how it's simple. And women are going to leave this planet full of all these skills and all these aspirations and all these plans and all these goals and all these things that you say you want to do. But then when it's time to show up, so that's why I said it doesn't matter. The world is not kind to women who are poor in the spirit and poor in mind. They're not kind to women like that. You get the bottom of the barrel when it comes down to quality experiences. You don't get quality experience. You get just an experience to keep you, because when you don't have any goals and you don't have anything that you're working towards, and your body automatically moves towards that. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how feminine and how. You don't know that matters. None of that matters. And it's not even being mean. It's the truth. It's the truth. And some of y'all really need to take advantage of where you are. If you're in a place, if you're living with parents or family members or stuff like that, you really need to take advantage of where you are. You're stable. You're living in a house. You have a roof over your head, right? Today you're fine, right? Your health is intact. You need to be creating your butt off. When I was home with my parents, I made $215,000 living in my parents' house. And half of that, I ain't even have no car. I bought my car cash, invested, focus on my business, all kinds of. I took advantage of that time. And even though times are different, if I could go back, I would still do this model, what I'm doing now, and if I wasn't, but I'm, that ain't happening. But I had to make myself feel safe. Even in a place where I was uncomfortable, because I needed to get out. You create so that you can have the space that you want. Something like I told y'all. If you're in a place, if you say, well, I can't create like I want to create, I'm gonna get ready to end. I can't create the way I want to create, coach, because my parents, or I'm staying with, my significant other, or I'm staying with my sister or with my cousin or whatever, and we don't. You create where you are, right? You create from where you are. And when you create from where you are, the imagination part comes in, because you'll start telling yourself that I'm ready to create somewhere nice. I'm ready to create somewhere pretty. I'm ready to create where I feel alive. I'm ready to be in a space where I can decorate, I can feel alive, I can feel one with myself. I can allow the energy to just flow through my house, and I can let the air in. I can be somewhere where there's good sunlight, where there's at least some clean air. I'm around inspiration. When I look outside my window, I'm not mad at what I see. I'm more so inspired by what I see. My space feels true to me, right? I'm getting excited even when I'm saying this. God will supply that. That will come out of you. The more you create and the imagination that you put into the atmosphere, That is what's going to come as a result because you are creating from a space where you at, and there's a gratitude, an unspoken gratitude where you give. And if you don't like where you are, you create from where you are, and then you will start to see yourself progress into a different space while you're still creating, because every moment is about the future. Y'all not responding. I don't know what's good, baby. If I was on the other end of this camera, maybe that's for me. You ain't got to take it from me. You ain't got to take that. I'm taking it because in the that's divine. When you're talking about divine, and see, this is why y'all got to wake up. Y'all are too melancholy when it comes down to creation. There's a divine place. When some of y'all are depressed and some of you are anxious, and the only way that you're going to come out of those types of setbacks is if you come from a place of creating yourself out of it. That's really your solution. You got to create your way out. I don't know who that's for. I really don't. I don't know who. I don't know who that's for. Take that. And you need to tell yourself the only way out is if I create out. I got to create myself out of here. I gotta create myself out. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. You got to, if I'm coming out of this, because then you got to look at where you at. It's a direct result of what happened within you. So if I don't like where I'm at, or I don't like the way I feel, I look at my bank account, I don't like the way it looks, and I'm looking at the outside and external and my circumstance, all these things came from within me. Mm-mm, mm-mm. So if I disagree, so the first thing I got to do is stop agreeing. That's where depression and this is where your mind be messed up at right there. Your brain be messed up right there because your brain is telling you that the only way that we're going to be able to be okay with this is if we just, we have to just be grateful for it because it can be so much work. No, 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 no. I disagree. I disagree. I don't like the way I feel. And in order for me to feel with a signature frequency, the signature energy, the vibration that I'm emitting to the world, there has to be a settlement of joy around me. I'm not agreeing with this no more. I'm not agreeing with the way I feel no more because I have to feel settled. And see, this is when you can call God to the carpet. Okay. This is not Christianity or anything like that. But I'm saying this is when you call God to the carpet and you say, now hold on. Now you say I'm a creator. Now this is what you said. Okay. See, this is where law of assumption comes in. Because you got to start telling yourself, I'm better than this. Now I had a couple of setbacks, but I don't agree with this. This is not at the level of excellence that I want to portray. That's why I used to tell people, like when you have a laptop and your laptop got a cracked screen and all that kind of stuff. And I used to coach my clients and stuff like this. I said, you need to learn how to create with money and manifest with money and manifest without money. And much of that is going to come by way of you telling God within, if I'm supposed to be doing good work, I'm not supposed to have a cracked screen. You're not like my clients used to book. They used to be like, I'm like, mm-mm. I said, uh, I'm one of them kind of, I'm looking at this. I'm like, no, I don't do crack. I don't do crack screens. I don't like my phone cracked screens. I said, How am I going to produce excellence? How am I going to do or be in my creativity with a subpar equipment? I got a horrible phone or a horrible camera. I don't this is not the level of excellence that I'm, because if I'm doing good work, if I'm doing God's work, that's why I used to say, if I'm doing my honest work and my sacred work, it can't be with no cracked screen. So why do I have that? I don't even feel confident doing so. See, a lot of other people tell you to be grateful and hey, then wrong with that. You can do that till you get some money. It's gonna come beforehand because I need a new screen. I need a new camera. I need a new phone. I need a new laptop. And this is another thing. Don't feel like, see, the creation comes from your words. See, all this stuff, see, this is way beyond, because see, a lot of stuff y'all ain't gonna be able to, because if you down and you spiral out, sometimes you can't even see your way out. But the only way you're gonna see your way out when you're spiraling out is if you have to catapult your way out. There's leaps and then there are quantum leaps. And if you're so down, you don't have nowhere else to go. So you're gonna have to quantum. And quantum means that you're gonna have to use the tools of the universe, which is what? I gotta use what I got to get out of here. What does that mean? That means that I'm gonna have to use this voice of mine. What I speak, there, even with that, what I just did, when I spoke, my voice bounced back to me. So my ears are receiving that which is coming out of my mouth. So I'm hearing myself talk. Do you know how powerful that is? Do you know how powerful that is? To be able to hear yourself speak the blessing and speak what you desire out. This whole place, all this right here, I spoke this. How much money I have? I don't know how much I have, but I ain't have like for this. This is a 3-story townhome in the suburbs. As the folks you say, and I'm not bragging. And I don't, that's why I said you got to stop caring about what the economy. You create first right here and up here. These two right here got to go together. And then you got to accompany what you say and what you see with your heart, because your heart is your feeling, right? It's your emotions, your energy, emotion. So if I'm trying to do good work for the kingdom, my kingdom, or the kingdom within, the heaven within, I can't have no cracked screens and stuff. And then furthermore, I'm not looking at no refurbished laptops. Now, before the ego pops up, before the ego come up and say, well, ain't nothing wrong with refurbished. It's something wrong with it. You know why? Because it ain't brand new. I want brand new. I'm entitled to brand new. Don't look at the price. I ain't asked you about the price. I didn't ask you how much it costs. I didn't ask you how much it costs. You see how I'm putting it? I'm not asking you how much it costs. Catch what I just said. I'm not asking you the cost. The cost is, I don't care about that. What I am asking for and what I'm bringing forth is a brand new what? I'm bringing brand new tools in. So if I don't want to be where I'm at, let me help you with this. And we're going to close, because see, creation is not just products. It's not just, I need to create money, because you can create whatever you want to create with your mouth and with your, girl, please. And people will tell me, Coach, oh my God, this needs to be so many people to watch this, because ain't nobody you ain't gonna bring them to, you got to bring them to the yard. But I'm gonna tell you this. You can create whatever you want to create. It's you that's tripping, because you're the feminine. We skip money over here. Sometimes you can skip right over money and say, this is what I said I want. Now, what there is no object that is too big that can't be brought into my experience. What are you talking about? You kidding me? So if I say I want a new place, you need to go look at it and don't look at the price. Go look at where you want to go live. The first time you're gonna probably your ego gonna trip up. I even told people that with houses. But I don't care what the economists say that, they said. I don't care what and what's your point? You go look at it. You go look at where you want to live. Think about the production. Think about the content. Think about the relaxation. You're thinking about all of these things, all of the relaxation, all of the ability to relax. Look at the pool. Look at the landscaping. Look at the neighborhood. Look at all that. Look at all of that. If you have children, think about your children being outside, how they would enjoy. Think about that. Now, you probably gonna have to go look at it a second time. Cause see, the second time you need to get it in, you have to bed it in your memory. Cause see, the first time your ego gonna take over, you can be thinking about all the costs and how far it is. Or it's just, I don't know, we gotta see, and you need to go back a second time because the second time is when you're going to actually involve the senses. You need to touch the knobs and put your hands on the sinks and put your hands on the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much money you got. I want you to do it with faith, by faith. If you can do it around the first time and throw yourself in the ether with that, the first time, that's because we're talking about creating. We're talking about something completely out of your element. This ain't, proof. This is, I believe, and I know. Imagination. I'm creating the life I want to live, which means that I have to jump past logic. I'm not looking at see, they stop you with the price because the price is logic. That's the masculine. Oh, wait a minute. It's this much. Can you afford this? We have to be logical about this. We have to come back to reality. Foresight, being the feminine, is foresight. Do you understand it? This is why a lot of people don't like intuition. This is why sometimes when we put out prophetic things and things that's to come, we sound crazy when we're saying it because we live in a masculine dominated society. So you're looked at crazy because people are looking at reality, and the reality is fact. You understand? When you look at the cost of a thing, you're looking at reality. The reality is not factual. Reality don't always mean the truth. Reality simply means result. I don't know where that came from. I gotta go. What I say? I'm writing it down. Reality just means the result. Baby, you ain't got to take that. I'll take that for myself. It's just the reality is it is either given to you or it came from you. But either way, you're gonna get it because when you're not in control, I'm finna blow your mind, but I gotta let me. Woo, Lord. When because I need to let you process that. Where does the result come from? Hmm? So result is simply an output of belief. So it don't matter what you affirm and what you say. It has everything to do with belief. That's your emotions accompanied by what you see in your mind. The imagination of what you see, right? The imagination is what you see and what you feel. That has to come out because behavior, your body will behave in direct relation to what it sees and feels. And the imagination, when emotion is a part of the equation, your body will think that it's there in real life. So just think about the emotions of how you feel when you think about lack. It's the same thing. It has to live it out. It has to give you that. Do you not understand that? So next time you open your mouth and lie and say that, oh, I'm meant to be, I'm meant to be wealthy. Check check your imagination bank. Because the opposite of imagination is limitation. You cannot imagine when you are limited. Imagination allows you to play. Imagination allows you to explore. Imagination is expansive. It allows you to see past your results. Y'all, somebody help me. It allows you to see what is beyond the result, which means that it's not the truth. I'm not looking at the truth. I'm looking past that. God, I'm watching this again for me. Imagination equals what it could be, what it could become. I don't know. I hope y'all okay. I was just, and I know there's a downer. There's a spirit of downer. It's a spirit of down. Like, because baby, 2 years ago we used to clown on these lives. They used to clown on these lives, son. But what I'm saying is, imagination is what could be, and limitation is what's always been. I'm going. It's that's not the way it is. I don't know how to do that. Well, who gonna listen to me? Who am I to do that? Or how am I gonna do that? It's this limitation. It's a limitation. Limited, we're limited, limitations are learned. This is why you gotta go, people gotta go copy content and all this kind of stuff because they don't have the capacity to expand. They don't have the capacity to do that. They're not tapped into their divine birthright. And I have to do that to my brain waves be firing off. With the opposite of creation is stagnation. The opposite of creation is stagnation. So if you're stagnant, you need to create. You need to come out of that. You need to take time and imagine something different, and you need to come out of that so you can just flow. You're stopped up. And then the opposite of faith is fear, which we know that. The opposite of possibility is doubt. The opposite of vision, catch this. The opposite of vision is memory. The opposite of dreaming is settling. I got to get out of here. I'm gone. I got to go. I got to go. Because some of y'all, you need to spend some time. You need to spend some time reimagining. We need to go back to imagination. Because what you see is not real, it's just a result. But you can change the result. You can change it. You can change it. Go back to what's in you. You already have the tools in you. That's good. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I'm gonna go call my baby because she didn't call me. So go create.